Coming of Age is coming up next. I'm your host, Josh Newby. First, today we'll get an update on the beautiful new Baptist Hospital facility in the heart of Pensacola from the hospital vice president himself. Then some very timely warnings about fraud and scams that are spreading like wildfire this holiday season. Learn how you can keep your family safe. Finally, we'll educate our audience on how they can volunteer to help seniors this Christmas. Stay with us. Coming of Age starts right now. As we age, staying active in life and involved in the community can become a challenge. But with Council on Aging of West Florida's range of home-based services, you remain healthy, independent, and engaged. From Meals on Wheels and respite care to senior dining sites and the retreat, you'll feel empowered to regain your freedom while retaining what makes you, you. We've been in the community for nearly 50 years, advocating for elders and supporting those who care for our parents and grandparents. We were there when your father's health began declining, when your mother needed companionship during the day. And guess what? We'll be there down the road when you need those services too. Now, join with us as we talk together about the aging issues that matter to you. On October 30th, 1949, the founders of Baptist Hospital broke ground to build a hospital with the purpose of bringing more modern health care to our community. Exactly 71 years from that date, Baptist broke ground again on a new main health campus at the corner of Brent and I-110 to officially commemorate the beginning of a journey to bring a modern and more accessible approach to health care to our region. Continuing the bold vision and legacy of its founders, Baptist is making this investment to improve the quality of life for generations to come. With us today is Baptist Healthcare Senior Vice President Scott Rains, who will update us on the plans for this new campus. Scott, thank you so much for joining us today. Let's start with this question. Why build a new campus in the first place?
Well, a couple of reasons. Predominantly to elevate to the next level of care. To be able to move into a modern facility allows us to elevate what we do and what we've done for the community for the past 71 years, and do it in a way that creates greater access, creates a greater opportunity for us to be the trusted partner for the community that we serve.
Tell us, what will the new campus be like?
Well, first word that comes to mind is going to be beautiful. But I'll start with the fact that it's on a 57-acre campus, as you said earlier, right off of Brent Lane and I-110. It will have a 10-floor hospital complex over 600,000 feet, accompanied by a 6-story medical office building, and a behavioral health facility that would be what we characterize as our phase one design. So opening day in the fall of 2023, that's what we'll look like.
What facilities are going to be on the new campus?
Sure, yeah. So our acute care hospital, all of our operations from a standpoint of acute care, healthcare will be there. Our patient rooms, our operating rooms, our just typical traditional hospital-based services will be there. In addition to that, an abundance of medical practices will be in our medical office building as well. That will include, of course, your oncology, cardiology, orthopedics, rheumatology, just all of those ologies will be on our campus as well. So essentially, we're lifting up everything from a healthcare perspective that's here on Ian Marino Street and moving it a little more than 2 miles away from where we are today to Brent Lane to provide care again for the next generations of Northwest Floridians.
When you say that the new campus will be more modern, what does that mean?
So we're in a facility that is 71 years old at its and it served us well. But as I think your viewers and it doesn't take long for things to become outdated, if you will, or not modern, particularly in healthcare. You go 3 years and there's a whole new way to do things. There's new technology, the research, the development that goes on is one in which, it's transformational. So we look to a facility of modern design. We've assembled the best and the brightest to help us create this facility so that it has flexibility, so that we can adapt to things that are happening in the 2020s that weren't happening in the 1950s. And so the facility is designed to be just that. In addition to the recognition that it's more than just science. It's more than just the brilliance of our doctors and our clinicians. It's a holistic healing environment. So we're creating a campus that is one that's soothing and healing and welcoming. So not only will we have beautiful bricks and mortar and phenomenally well-designed rooms and technology, we'll also have a campus of heritage oaks and a layout that allows for spiritual and personal healing as well. That's comfortable, that's welcoming, that's visible, and is healing in just its nature. So we've really been purposeful around the work and the design over the last really couple of years as we've worked to lay this out, not just from the standpoint of a modern, very efficient healthcare facility and medical office building facility, but a campus that is just that as well.
Obviously, this location different than your current location. Why did you choose this particular place in the city?
Yeah, we're very fortunate to be able to secure that location. We engaged the Haas Center at UWF to help us assess where right locations would be, and quite candidly, they identified some other locations that might be futuristically a better place to be from a standpoint of growth in the region. But we wanted to stay true and close to the community that we've always served. And so that the campus location on Brent Lane made the most sense. And I credit just the leadership of this organization for the ability to secure that property, to make that work, because in and of itself, there's a story behind that. So while we could have maybe gone to the north and west, where it appears as though in the future that's where the growth will be, greater growth will be for Pensacola, we were purposeful in staying close to home, close to the community that we've served for the past 70 plus years, and yet be in a very accessible location right off of Brent Lane and off of 110 for all to be able to get to us. So we're ecstatic about the location, even though somewhere else may have been economically a different or better place to go. And I credit our board, our leadership group, for their work and commitment to being true to who and what we are and being the trusted partner in the communities that we serve.
Tell us about the project team that is building this new hospital.
So I would characterize it as an all-star group that we've assembled at the core. First and foremost, Meadows and Oley is our project management group. They're based out of Atlanta, Georgia, basically. They really are the kind of the general manager, the project manager of all the partners. Gresham Smith has been a great partner of ours architecturally. They are renowned in healthcare architecture and predominantly based out of Jacksonville, although we do see a lot of folks from the Gresham team out of Nashville with us. Great architectural group. Brassfield and Gorey construction group, arguably the best in the country, if not the world. One of the top 2 or 3 are our general contractors. Smith, Seckman, and Reed does our medical equipment. They've been phenomenal to work with. We're thrilled to have them on board. We just feel like we've really got the best of the best that we assembled. And just a quick word about that. When things are going well, it's pretty easy for all. But if you think about what we've experienced in this past year, with the weather events that have occurred here locally, of course, with the pandemic, assembling of this team and the work that they've done to keep us on track, and they've had to change the way they've worked, right? So getting together is a no-go in many instances, and yet to be able to be where we are on time, on budget, making things go the way that they're making things go is a testament to how great they are. And so we're just thrilled to have them have that team put together, Josh.
Obviously, you guys are a healthcare organization first and foremost, but there is, of course, an economic impact. Tell us about the economic impact of this particular project.
Yeah, from a standpoint of construction jobs, over 4,000 jobs through the life of the project that we're seeing happen already. Over 200 million in direct construction labor income. As a result, indirect 34 million with over 700 jobs. A project of this size, if you think about it, is I hate to do this comparison, especially with what we've experienced from a standpoint of the 3 Mile Bridge and the jail project that's going on. You can put those two together, and they don't equate to what we're doing. And so, we're, as Mark Faulkner would say, it's the biggest healthcare project in Northwest Florida's history as we know it, modernly speaking. And yes, we are a healthcare provider, but we are absolutely helping drive the economy in a positive way with this project for sure. And I think that you'll see the evolution of the properties around the Brent Lane area. Inevitably, when a hospital is built, the properties around that hospital really explode as well. And I think in the years to come, you'll see that evolve as well. And we're excited about that for that location.
The question everybody wants to know, when will it get finished? What is the proposed timeline right now?
Yeah, we're on target for a fall of 2023 opening. Again, that would be phase 1. We're looking at an October date. That's still absolutely in our crosshairs, even with the challenges and the headwinds that we've faced, particularly in 2020. Still very optimistic that occurs. If you've been around or by the site, you can see just enormous amounts of progress that have been made from the demolition of some of the existing properties on there, while still being true to the heritage oaks that are there, and the trees and the foliage and just the beauty of the property that really is college campus like, quite frankly. So we have every reason to believe we'll hit that October 2023 date.
Excellent information. Last question for you. How can our audience stay up to date with new information?
Yeah, please hit our website at ebaptisthealthcare.org. We have updates that we provide there quite frequently. Credit to our communication team and our PR team that helps keep everyone informed, our workforce, as well as all of those partners that are interested in what's going on. So please hit that website, take a look. You'll see updates provided regularly.
Great information, Scott. Thank you so much for joining us.
Josh, thank you so much for all that you do. It's been a pleasure.
Next, some holiday and COVID-related scams that you'll want to keep aware of. Stay safe with us, coming up next.
Why do people love ACT's retirement life communities? There are more reasons than just the active lifestyle. Like ACT's Life Care, a plan that protects your nest egg with predictable monthly fees, even if your health care needs increase. So you can enjoy a carefree today and a worry-free tomorrow. Plan a visit and see why our satisfaction rating with current residents stands at 98%. ACT's Retirement Life Communities, where loving kindness lives.
The days may be merry and bright, but for fraudsters and criminals, the holidays can mean a big payday, with you footing the bill. Let's learn together how to keep your money and your identity safe year-round with the experts, the Better Business Bureau and their marketing coordinator, Tammy Ward. Tammy, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for inviting us.
Let's start broad.
Okay.
What are some scams that people need to be aware of right now?
Well, the ongoing one is a Social Security scam, and that really hits our seniors big time. It used to be the IRS scam that we were getting a lot of reports on, and the scammers are getting wise to the fact that we are getting the word out about the IRS. So now they're claiming that they're calling from the Social Security office, and they need to verify the Social Security number. And so unfortunately, a lot of people are not realizing that it is a scam, and they're giving out that number. So we want to make sure that people understand that the Social Security office won't call,
Right.
and that you should not be giving out any kind of personal information to someone that just calls you on the phone.
Okay. What are some scams specific to the holiday season? I know this is a big time
Yes.
for the fraudsters. How can people stay safe specifically during the holidays?
We have the Secret Sister scam,
Right.
and that's basically a social media thing. And let's face it, we have Facebook friends that we have never met in person.
Sure.
So if you're going to give out your personal information, that's going to be a big no-no to people. And that basically is a scam where they say you send one gift to someone and you'll get 36 or more a piece.
Right.
It is a pyramid scheme.
Right.
And if you use the postal service, it can also be illegal
Okay.
for the federal. If you know the people, that's one thing. But for the most part, like I said, there's Facebook friends that are, you might get interested in this scam, and they're not really known to you.
Right.
Even though you might know them online, we really
That doesn't
don't
mean
know.
anything.
Exactly.
Right.
We really don't know who is on there. And the big one that's also going on that's actually been through the COVID time is the puppy scam. We actually have a new report out that we're going to be receiving over 4,000 reports this year of the puppy scam, where people go online, they are going to a fraudulent website, and they think that they're purchasing a puppy or another animal. We just call it the puppy scam because
Right.
that's how it all started. 337 reports just in November that people were taking their money, and it could be a $3.1 million loss this year
Oh my
alone.
geez. Yeah.
This year alone. So it's a big issue, and we're trying to get the word out. Please go to your local pet store, go to the
Yeah.
Humane Society, go someplace that's local that you can see the pet, because what scammers are doing for the COVID and also for the holidays, because of this crisis, we can't meet you in person until you pay us. So,
course.
do something online, go, use Zoom or
Right.
FaceTime. But again, try to do it locally. There's so many pets out there that really need good homes right in our local area.
Interesting. People scamming puppies. How those poor
I know,
puppies.
I know.
What tips do you have for people shopping online? Obviously, because of COVID, more people are shopping online than ever this
Yes.
Christmas. What tips do you have?
First, you want to make sure that your antivirus is up to date.
Right.
You want to, even if you go to a fraudulent website, that antivirus will help not get any kind of malware downloaded to your computer. Check out things first. If you see something online and you know that the price is normally a certain price and that there's a really big sale on, make sure that it is a good price. Shop around. Just like if you were going to go to different brick and mortar stores, you can do the same thing by going to the different websites
Right.
and just make sure that it is. And if it's too good to be true,
It probably is.
It probably is. You also want to use a secure way of paying, so like a credit card versus a debit card.
Right.
And that way you can refute the charges if you need to, if something happens that you find something that you didn't pay for, or additional charges that you weren't aware of, as well as looking at the refund policies, the warranties on things, and also gift receipts. Make sure you get your receipt. Online, you can still get a receipt and get a gift receipt if you're actually giving it to someone, so that they have an opportunity to take it back or return it if they need to.
Okay.
But check those return policies, because not everybody has a return policy. So you want to make sure that you're doing your due diligence, whether it's for a gift for you or for someone else.
How about through sites like Craigslist? A lot of people purchase things secondhand and then meet in person to actually get that product, exchange the money. How do people stay safe for Craigslist?
They don't pay until they actually meet that person.
There you go.
That's the biggest thing. And also try to meet in a public place.
Yeah.
I know that a lot of the law enforcement, they allow them people to meet in their parking lots.
Right.
So that's a safer place, but definitely someplace. And if you can take someone with you so that you're not alone, that's also a good.
Good. We have just about a minute left, but I wanted to give you a chance to touch on any storm-related scams and also any COVID-specific scams that you're seeing.
For the most part, it's the contractors, and usually they show up. I call them storm chasers, because usually they show up like right after the storm when people are they're most vulnerable. They want to get the roof fixed or the something like that. So just make sure that anybody that knocks on your door or that you contract with, if they're accredited, you can go to bbb.org and you can look them up on our website. We have thousands and thousands of profiles on different businesses. If they're accredited, then we already have checked and made sure that all of their licenses are up to date. And then, just be diligent and make sure that you get things in writing.
Great advice, Tammy. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Next, in lieu of gifts, please volunteer. Stay with us.
Since 1989, TLC Caregivers has been providing the special help people need to stay independent in their own homes. TLC is an employer of choice in the home care market. Our employees are screened with level 2 background screens, drug-free, and have caregiving experience. If you have time, enjoy people, and are interested in joining us, go to tlccaregivers.com to learn more about becoming a TLC caregiver, or visit us in Cordova Square.
When cancer tries to take you away from the things that matter most, Baptist Cancer Institute offers caring physicians and the most innovative treatment options. With convenient locations and a wide array of support programs and services, we're here to help you during the most difficult of times. As a member of the Mayo Clinic Care Network, we're bringing even more innovative cancer care to our community right here at home. When you need cancer care, we'll be there.
The economic downturn and continuing pandemic are forcing many to get creative this Christmas. A recent trend we've noticed is interest in volunteering as a form of gift giving and as a safe way to socialize. It's a win for you and a win for seniors who are otherwise very lonely this time of year. Our own volunteer coordinator, Will Worth, joins us now to give us the details. Will, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me on here, Josh.
What volunteer opportunities exist for the public through Council on Aging?
Well, we have a multitude of volunteer positions, but the one that people tend to call about the most is the Meals on Wheels program.
Right.
We cover Escambia County and Santa Rosa County, all the way to Cantonment and Century in Escambia County, and Jay to Navarre and Santa Rosa County. Okay. Unfortunately, right now, because of the holidays, we are stacked up on volunteers, so we don't have any openings right now, but I always encourage people to call or email to ask about the volunteer opportunities, and then what we can do is we can send them a volunteer enrollment form, get them pre-signed up, so when something does become available, we save a step.
So take us through that startup process. I call Council on Aging, I'm interested in volunteering. Is there an orientation? What does that whole onboarding process look like?
Sure. Give us a call or email. I mean, we get both. Okay. What I'll do is I will send you a volunteer enrollment form, have you fill it out and return it to me. Once I get it back, then I schedule an orientation, which takes about 20 to 30 minutes at the office or in the Baghdad office, depending where you're coming from. Mm-hmm. And we go over the basics of the volunteer program. You go through our volunteer handbook, the do's and don'ts, the rules and regulations, which are all pretty simple. Yeah. And then we set you over with the case manager or the person in charge of the Meals on Wheels to get you to the next step.
Okay. And what is that next step? I imagine there's training involved. You're not just going to throw me out there in the deep end, are you?
Yeah, we're not just going to throw you out there in the deep end. What we do is, especially for Meals on Wheels, we will have you have the volunteer shadow another volunteer, ride along with another volunteer, follow another volunteer. It's really not a whole lot of rocket science. If you have GPS on your phone, it's really pretty easy that way. But once you get used to the route, then you'll know, starting at closest and going to the farthest, or starting at farthest and working way back closest. But yeah, there's people that will help you through the process. There are case managers and people like myself that will help you through the process and get you onboarded and ready for the adventure.
Are there any sort of age requirements? Is there a background screening? What are some of those logistics look like?
We do require a background screen. Okay. We just make sure that everybody's safe and sound. So we do a level 1 background check for most individuals. If we have to do a level 2, then we'll go to that step, and that's usually from people who volunteer more than 20 hours a week. Right. There is an age limit. Unfortunately, we cannot take anybody under the age of 18. Right. I wish we could, because I know there's a lot of high school students out there that are just wanting to volunteer and give back and help out in the community, but unfortunately, we have to do the cutoff date at 18 because you can't do a background check on somebody under the age of 18.
Right. You've been on these Meals on Wheels routes, as have I. You've helped other volunteers in other capacities at this agency and at other organizations. Tell us about the value of volunteering for the volunteer themselves and then also for the person they're serving.
The value of volunteering, it's something that you can't really put a dollar amount on because it affects different people in different ways. During the holiday season, especially with the seniors who are shut in, seniors who may not have family living here, may not have friends around, volunteering is a great way to connect with them, for them to connect with the outside world. See how they're doing, what are they looking for, what do they need, what can we do to help? It's great during the time, especially during the holiday seasons, but it's great year round because the seniors can get lonely year round, and it's great to give back to your community. It's great to give back to seniors and helping those that may not be able to help themselves.
I know that when I've done a handful of Meals on Wheels routes, most of the time, if the seniors are expecting that meal, if it's according to the usual schedule, they're there at the door waiting. They're so excited. Most of the regular drivers are almost part of their family. They'll stay behind for a couple minutes and chat. And you really try to facilitate that ongoing relationship, right?
We do, and it's as you said, as you get to know your route, you get to know the people on your route. They get to know you. They know what time you're going to get there. They are waiting at the door, at the gate, waiting to welcome you for the week, back to their house. Check in with them, check in with you, to do some chit chat back and forth.
Yeah.
Always great to check on your neighbor. They really do look forward to it. God forbid you're 5 minutes late because they start to worry.
Yeah, they do.
But that's
They'll
great
call.
because that's somebody else that that's out there concerned
Definitely.
about you. So.
One more question for you. What does the first time you volunteer look like? I imagine you might be a little nervous. We keep talking about Meals on Wheels, and we can talk about Meals on Wheels here. What does that first time look like?
First time, well, again, it depends on where you start volunteering.
Sure.
Meals on Wheels, or at the retreat, the adult daycare center, or one of our congregate meal sites. I know people tend to feel a little out of place their first time they're volunteering because they're not really sure what's going on, what to expect, what's expected of them. We try to make it as smooth a transition as possible. Making sure you're introduced to everybody, making sure everybody knows your name and what you're there for. That makes the volunteer process so much easier and so much more welcoming, to where people want to keep coming back, and then they tell their friends and family and they want to volunteer. It's always a great thing. We try to make it as easy as possible.
Wonderful information, Will. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks for having me on, Josh.
And until next time, enjoy life. You've earned it.
When you adopt a shelter pet, you discover all the things that make them unique.
And your mother.
They're a little bit of a lot of things, but they're all pure love.